2023, you were a minister, there was a Liberal government, a lot of the same things. You said, and you held a summit, and 5 of the largest grocers agreed to help, quote, stabilize food prices. That's what you said. So can you just tell me how much Canada's overall food inflation has gone up since that date?
Well, I would say, first of all, thank you for putting the motion forward. I think this is welcome by Canadian families. This is tough work, as you know, and this is work in progress. And that's why today you see we're taking concrete measures to help Canadian families.
Respect, you took concrete measures before. In fact, they were the exact same concrete measures. It's 7.83%. I'm going to ask you, you promised price stability. Those are your words from 2023 when you were a minister in the Liberal government. Is 7.83% increase in food prices since your promise your definition of stability? Yes or no?
Well, what I would say, what we did was unprecedented in the country's history. You would recall, I think I was the first Minister of Industry to call all the CEOs of the major grocery chain in Canada.
That's correct.
And I asked
and
them,
food prices went up since then.
Well, I would say competition is the real answer. And what we have been doing is to drive competition in the country, because what we need is more competition. But I would say, if you allow me, we need also structural measures. I had the opportunity to talk to l'Union des producteurs agricoles in Quebec and others. And what they would tell you is that there's structural things. That's why you see there's not only the benefit, but we're touching structural things like greenhouses, because we just need to produce more in Canada.
But a number of times in 2023, you said things like lower prices. In quotes, these are your words. You're going to stabilize food prices in Canada. We're going to give you lower prices, competition, less consolidation. Those are all your words when you were a minister. And I want to know, which one is lower today? Which thing is lower today than it was in September of 2023? Is it peppers? Is it lettuce? Is it beef? Is it coffee? Or is it infant formula? Which thing? Just one thing.
As you would know, food inflation is a challenge in pretty much all the G7 countries. But I'm just allowing to provide background. As you look, for example, currently Canada sits lower than some of our peer countries, lower than the United States, lower than Germany, lower than the United Kingdom. And it's a number of factors. Let me just to provide feedback to Canadians who are watching. Canada imports about 30% of the produce. When you get to winter, it's about 80 to 90%. So that's why we have structural issues to deal with, because then you have currency issue, you have climate change issue, you have trade issues.
I think you can blame all the outside factors you want. Minister, you brought this summit to Ottawa. You said that you would stabilize prices. You said that you would lower prices. Since your grocery summit, peppers have gone up 41%, lettuce 39%, coffee 33%, beef 27%. Which of these increases did your plan actually prevent?
I'd say it's work in progress. And I benchmark with our G7 colleagues. I happen to sit at the G7 finance minister.
How is that
and I
progress?
would say,
what does success look like in your department?
It's challenging everywhere, but the structural measures that we're presenting today are going to help to produce more in Canada, include food security, immediate expenses for example, for greenhouses, making sure we can support abattoirs and the food supply chain in Canada will help.
I've got no time, and you're not really answering the questions with numbers. If prices rise by 43% after government intervention, what would failure have looked like? Is it 50%? Is it 60%? Like, what are the benchmarks in your department that says lower prices need to be this much, or stability needs to be this, if everything is going up and we are the leader in the G7 on grocery inflation?
Well, I would challenge you with the data on that. If you look since 2019, you'd see that the data does not support your statement.
I'm looking since you yourself said that you would stabilize prices.
I'm just looking because I happen to look at the G7 numbers, because we do benchmark with our G7 peers. And if you look at Canada, I'm happy to share the chart with you. But that doesn't what makes a difference for Canadians. What makes a difference for Canadians
tonight? Wait a second. Grocery prices don't make a difference for Canadians?
I would say what makes a difference to Canadians is to be humble in this place. Humility should be part of our discourse. Canadians are smart. Canadians understand that you have a number of issues that goes around grocery inflation. It's not unique to Canada. They have the same thing in the United States. And what I'm saying is that they know that because you import, you have fluctuation in currency. They know about the issue of climate change. They know about issue with respect to supply chain.
With all due respect,
they
Minister,
know that
you've been in government for 10 years.
Yeah,
you
but
yourself said in 2023 that you would stabilize prices, that you would lower prices. And every single price that I have named for you today on every single item has gone up and not down. You're blaming outside factors. Right now in Canada, our food inflation is twice that of the Americans.
Yeah, I'm not blaming anything. I'm just telling the facts. Because when you have people watching at home,
well,
they
convenient
understand.
that the facts, it's convenient that you keep yourself and all of government policy, regulation, food packaging taxes outside of your facts. You're not allowed to have your own facts.
But that's why I want to answer to you. That's why I'm saying Canadians understand that food inflation is a global issue. But what they care more is that we're taking structural measures to.
So if it's a global.
Do you want, Madam Chair, do you want me to answer? Because I'm happy to listen to the question. But if Canadians want to have answers.
You've got to answer the questions. Why is Canada the worst then?
Well, I would challenge you on that, but that's not really what Canadians would focus on.
Okay, thank you very much, Minister. Thank you, Ms. Landsman.